Good morning. This is the regularly scheduled Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, September 16th at 9 o'clock. Oh, we're on time. Chief Villanueva, can you open the meeting for us? Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. Ms. Hill, can you call the roll?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
President Humphrey Hayes,
Here.
Vice President Deluge, Commissioner Babcock,
Present.
Commissioner Hara,
Here.
Commissioner Woods Gray,
Here.
Fire Chief Villanueva,
Here.
Deputy City Attorney Linda Newland,
Here.
and we have one.
Thank you. Now, Chief Villanueva, could you open the meeting for us?
Please stand. Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in a moment of silence in honor of past and present members of the Los Angeles Fire Department who devote their lives to the protection of our community. Thank you. Please seated.
Thank you. At this time, I want to know if there are any commissioner comments. Dr. Hara?
Now, this will be my last meeting, I guess, and I'll go before City Council, October the 3rd, is that correct?
That-
And then Beth Garfield is here, and she'll be my replacement.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Several things to catch up on here. First, I want to congratulate Chief Hing and let him know I will miss him. But I'm happy for him because he's a good person. And the city of Monterey Park is lucky to get him. And I also want to thank Dr. Hara for his many years of service on this commission. He went above and beyond the call of duty, showing up at every event, every occasion he was always there. Even through COVID, Dr. Hara was always there. He never stopped working. Even with COVID, some of us said we sheltered ourselves. But Dr. Hara was out there making sure that the commission was always represented. And I enjoyed having him as my vice president of this commission, we did good work together. I wish him the very best in his next assignment, which I know he will not be far away from us because of his love for the fire department. He will be here somewhere close by, and we'll be talking with him and working on this relationship that we've built over the last 10 years. And he's so involved in so many activities until some of them I was not aware of, but because of his involvement, I now support some of those organizations, Wounded Warriors and groups like that he supports because of his advocacy for those programs. He's just a tireless man. I don't know where he gets that energy from. He can spread it around. Anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Hara, for your service to the city of Los Angeles and to the LA Fire Department. Okay, also, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. I hope that everyone will celebrate and remember the contributions of Hispanics in the LAFD, because there have been contributions. And no one can really take away the history that we have in this department or in this city or in this country. We want to remember the contributions of our Latin, Hispanic brothers and sisters. The history, and those bomberos, I don't know where they are, but I haven't seen them here in a long time. I'm looking for you. It's time to show up. I'd like to also request that we receive the correction action summary reports at our meeting? We haven't had them in a while, but when I looked at the last meeting on YouTube, it reminded me that some of the speakers were requesting information that we get in that report, and we did used to get it frequently. I can't remember how. Betty will know the schedule. The city is beginning to work on overhauling the charter for the city of Los Angeles. And I would like to have a written report from all the departments in the LAFD that are working on the charter reform. Because I understand we have people who are working on charter reform, but I'm not aware of what they're doing. There are issues that we would like to address. And I would like to see if there's some of the same issues that they're already looking at. So charter reform is very important. We haven't done it in, like 15 or 20 years? It's been a long time. And there's room for growth there. So if they would bring us a report to let us know what they're working on, what the timeline is, who's responsible for overseeing the reform, charter reform for LAFD. And we have not had a report on the drill tower in some time. We don't know how many people have graduated over a certain period of time, what the retention rate was like, how many people went into probation and didn't finish. We need more information on that, because as of last meeting, I heard that was a big concern from some of the people that I listened to on YouTube. Thank God for that. And it seems as if we were losing so many firefighters in the first year, and sometimes looked like the first 6 months. Anyway, I think we need a report on that with an explanation as to what's really going on in recruitment and training on for that particular group. And because I'm disappointed to hear that people fail in the first year or first 6 months. Because as a teacher, I could never fail a student who had not completed several different kinds of teaching methods, where I tried to make sure that everybody learned what they were supposed to learn. You couldn't just teach them as one way and say, oh, God, you failed, now you're out of here. So I don't understand that rationale of what's happening there. We really need to get a little handle on what's going on there. Okay, and I need, Chief, an organizational chart, because you've had so many changes, I don't know who's where. And when I get ready to call somebody, they said, oh, I'm not doing that now. So if we could get an updated organizational chart with the contact information on it, I would appreciate that. Thank you. I guess my vacation and rest was good. I had a lot of things to think about.
Thank you, Commissioner Woods Gray. So the only thing that I want to make sure that somebody has a handle on how to do the research. I think, Ms. Hill, maybe it's you, around the charter reform question. Everything else, she'll track, and Ms. Hill will put it on the tracking system that we have, so that we know when the reports are going to come forward. But I am not sure how we're going to get the information, whether or not the charter reform group has information out, but we'll make sure that
we have
get it.
people who are working on charter reform.
So you want to know specifically who from the fire department
is working on reform,
working on the charter
and
reform.
which part of the charter they want to reform, and what are the suggestions that they're making as far as charter reform is concerned.
I got it.
And I understand that it's more than one department that's doing it, so I would like it to come together so I see a whole picture.
Got it.
And-
Now I understand.
And just on the heels of that, I think it would be, so this issue regarding that we had the gap between receiving grant funds there's a department that has to go through. So in working with one of the council offices, they need to know some specifics and certain things of, where exactly in the charter is that. So anything that impacts the fire department regarding the charter that we would like to see change, now is the time, so that we can carry that water as well through some of these council offices that were willing to because again, there's so many pieces and there's a depth to it all. And it's great there's a commission on it, but they may not be focused on the things that we need to have them focus on, so.
Okay.
That would
What
be,
they do even
yeah.
as a commission is they listen to public comments.
Exactly,
And then they
yeah.
make decisions
Right,
based
right.
upon that.
But we can
Because
put
I
some of
remember
our-
working with them many years ago, whenever that last one was.
Right.
Right. Okay, so then, let's bump that up to our next commission meeting, so we can have a report back. Commissioner Woods Gray, do you want it in writing?
I'd like to have, yes, all
Okay.
those reports should be in writing.
Okay. All right, and then the org chart, maybe if you can just give it to Ms. Hill, and she can just mail it out to all of us, would that work?
Isella usually push one button and it just shoots, the email comes to us.
Right, so I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to wait to come for the
No.
next
Oh,
commission
no.
meeting.
That's something
We can
that
just
come.
make sure that every
I hope I get
commissioner
that
gets-
more sooner, because I need to make contact with some people.
Okay, so can we make sure that it gets shot out to commissioners, like, immediately?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. I want to just remind people that Dr. Hara is going to be honored at the full council, and it's on October 3rd at 10 a.m. So anybody that would like to go, I'm encouraging us to be able to go and honor him for his service. Are there any more commissioner comments? Okay. We are now to the part where we're going to have public comment.
Brady's back.
The first speaker we have is Paul Scrivano. If you could state the items you'd like to speak on.
All items, please, and general comment.
Okay, you have 3 minutes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On behalf of the thousands of members that follow my social media and support me in what I'm doing, and who were told by Mayor Bass not to raise the flag to half-staff in honor of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I'm going to take the first 5 seconds of my time and do a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Thank you for joining me. So these guys were told by the president to lower the flags. I'm sorry, raise the flags to half-staff. And Mayor Bass said, don't do it. I would love to know where you guys stood on that, if you were told or if you were advised. Because it's disgraceful to hold back these guys. The first oath they make is to the Constitution, then to the city, then to the department. None of them were allowed to do that. It's disgraceful, as I said. Next, I want to move on to congratulating again Dr. Hara, and I'm fearful for his replacement now, Elizabeth Garfield. First of all, and where is Commissioner DeLugich? 2 months off? After the Palisades fire and the investigation that we're waiting for, a department in ruins, a membership that has no representation, where is she? Why isn't she not here? 2 months? That she doesn't get to, you know what you need is a citizen who's not a union activist to sit on that commission. Maybe I should talk to Mayor Bass. But it's disgraceful that she doesn't, 2 months now. And I hope you enjoyed your vacation as you characterized it, a vacation. The men have no union, they have no representation. You're the one that's supposed to be looking after them right now. The members, I'm sorry, the 117 women. Chief Villanueva, I'm really proud of you. I don't think Mayor Bass needs to look any further, quite frankly. I think she ought to just make the permanent appointment. The moves that you've made, bold, the command staff moves, positions that you've changed around, DEI department, wherever that is now, really proud of you. And I hope you keep it up, and I hope Mayor Bass makes the nod, because that's what we need, is leadership that knows what it was like back when the department had its glory. But with a SEIU union lawyer who's going to sit there, Sharon DeLugich, the vice president, who proudly wears the day 6 of a 6-day strike shirt. This one led a 4.5-month strike, crippling the city and the ports. You're a pioneer in the struggle for teachers' rights, yet you sit on the board of 3,500 members who cannot strike by law. Again, no one sees a conflict of interest in that. How can you fight for the rights of these men without saying, you know what, guys, if they don't give it to you, let's go on strike? What if President Trump tomorrow said teachers cannot go on strike by law because their jobs are so important? Your heads would blow off. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker, and please forgive me, Katie Chavarria. If you can state the items you'd like to speak on.
Chavarria is fine.
Can somebody move the microphone down for her so that we can hear her? Thank you.
What items would you like to speak on?
My son and the youth that are, or the. All items? Sorry.
Thank you.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay. Good morning, commissioners and members of the Los Angeles Fire Department leadership. My name is Katie. I am a retired Los Angeles police officer, but today I am here as a mother. On May 1st, my son graduated from the LAFD Academy. That day it was always and will be one of the proudest moments of all my life. I saw him march with a spark in his eyes, and some spark I felt the day I put on my LAPD uniform for the first time after graduation. He gave all of his time to the department. For 4 months after probation, he began to come home tired, sore, and sometimes drained, but I was always proud. He believed and he found his calling. And then everything changed at his second house. What should have been a place of guidance and mentorship of growth became the opposite. Instead of being lifted up, he was torn down. Instead of encouragement, he was faced with harassment, intimidation, and humiliation. The pride he carried was stripped away. The confidence he had worked so hard for was broken down. In just a short time, my son, the same boy who dreamed of becoming a firefighter since childhood, was left questioning if he ever belonged in this career. As his mother, I have been heartbreaking to watch. We raise children to love the city, to respect the badge, and to serve with honor, and to treat people with dignity. I spent over 2 decades teaching my son of the public service and about integrity and sacrifices. To see my son torn down, not by the job itself, but by the very people that should be guiding him. It's devastating. We have a younger son. He is an EMT program, preparing to follow his brother's footsteps and become a firefighter for LAFD. But now I'm afraid for him. I knew probation was meant to be tough. I knew it was supposed to test him. But this is a difference between toughness and cruelty. Okay.
Thank you.
Xavier Estacio. Apologies if I'm butchering your name. Good morning. What items would you like to speak on?
All?
You have 3 minutes.
Yeah. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Javier Desacia. I'm members of the Los Angeles Fire Department leadership. I'm here as a father. The day my son graduated from the Fire Academy was one of the proudest days of my life. I saw him standing tall, full of pride, full of purpose, ready to serve this city. In that moment, I believe he was stepping into a brotherhood that would guide him, mentor him, and help him grow into a firefighter he always dreamed of becoming. But the dream quickly turned into something else, something painful. My son was not just humiliated or harassed, he was physically hurt while on probation. He came home bruised and in pain. I saw it in his face, I heard it in his voice. I felt the heartbreak only a parent can feel when their child is harmed. Instead of being lifted up, he was torn down. Instead of being protected, he was abused. I know the cruelty, I know the discrimination. I came to this country as a Chilean refugee after spending a year and a half in a concentration camp for political reasons. Escaping violence and fear, I came here believing in safety, believing in dignity, believing that America was different. I never imagined that my own son, on the year 2025, will face the same kind of cruelty inside the department that is supposed to stand for honor and integrity. Who do you call 911 when you are inside the fire department and you are being abused? Is there a special line to do it? Chief Villanueva, I congratulate you for your leadership. Yo recibí la placa de mi hijo de sus manos y espero que usted lo proteja. Usted está en una posición mejor que nadie para hacer algo. I'm going to try to translate. I congratulated Chief Villanueva. He gave me the badge when I put it in my son, and he's in a wonderful position to change this department. This is a good department. If you have 3 or 4 or 5 people, you should help them get into the right track. I ask you, how is this possible? How can we call it toughness when it leaves a young firefighter injured? How can we call it training when it destroys confidence and strip away pride? Toughness is supposed to prepare you. Toughness is supposed to build you. What my son endured was not toughness, it was violence, and it has no place in the department. My wife and I have spent sleepless nights, sick and worried. We see his physical pain, but worse, we see emotional scars. As a young man, questioning himself, questioning his place in the career, questioning whether the dream he carried since childhood is even worth. Commissioner Chief Villanueva, this cannot continue. What happened to my son should never happen to anyone's child. This cycle of abuse is not dangerous, it's destructive. Protect probationary firefighters, protect their dignity, protect their future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Susie Wiseman. If you could state the items you'd like to speak on.
All.
You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners and members of the LA Fire Department. I think what I'm going to say is to amplify what Commissioner Woods-Gray has already said. My name is Susie Wiseman. I'm a longtime public radio journalist and professor emerita of politics. A young family friend, whom I call my nephew and who calls me Tia, is in his first year of probation as a firefighter. I've known him his entire life. His parents are close family friends. His father, like my late husband, came to this country as refugees from Pinochet's dictatorship in Chile. Both were detained and tortured in Pinochet's concentration camps. Once in the United States, they dedicated themselves to fight for human rights, decency, and justice. From childhood, my nephew dreamed of being a firefighter. His grandfather was a firefighter in Chile, and he believed that this career would combine community service with a sense of family, a second family dedicated to protecting others. Instead, from his very first day, he faced disdain and ostracism. Dismissed for his Chilean heritage and identity, he was subjected to extreme physical drills until he collapsed, lost consciousness, and was hospitalized with rhabdomyolysis, a potentially life-threatening condition. When he returned, determined to prove himself, he was pushed even harder and again collapsed, again having to be hospitalized. What he hoped would be a second family instead became a hostile environment intent on hurting him. My nephew is a fine young man with laudable principles and convictions, a boon to the community, and an example of the kind of young men we want and need, hardworking, studious, committed, and compassionate. After years of preparing to become an EMT and firefighter, he was crushed
to discover that the culture of abuse he encountered was not exceptional, but systemic. This is not an isolated case. The hazing and negligence that probationary firefighters are forced to endure is the norm. Rather than mentorship and training, rookies are pushed to the point of collapse, with leadership too often siding with tradition instead of protecting them. Only after connecting with the Stentorians and with President Robert Hawkins, in particular, did my nephew find hope that change is possible. The Stentorians call for a firefighter's Bill of Rights with enforceable standards that guarantee dignity and mentorship and finally put an end to the cycle of abuse. We revere our firefighters. They risk their lives to protect ours and save ours. They deserve the same respect in their training. The current culture undermines morale, retention, safety, wastes taxpayers' money, and drives away the very firefighters Los Angeles most needs. I thank the Commission for providing this forum for public comment and urge you to act and to decisively end this cycle of abuse and build a culture worthy of the values firefighters embody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Gary Clark. If you could state the items you'd like to speak on.
All items.
You have 3 minutes.
Madam President, Fire Commission, Interim Fire Chief, and everyone in attendance. My name is Gary Clark, firefighter paramedic, historian for the Los Angeles City Stentorians. Our department promises to protect lives, including our own firefighters. That promise is being broken. Probationary or not, firefighters should not fear coming to work. Yet, they face unsafe drilling practices that have led to heat-related emergencies that include rhabdomyolysis, which is the most critical stage of heat-related illness. They endure humiliation, intimidation, forced sleep deprivation, unfair evaluations, and false documentation that's used to recommend them for termination. Too often, misconduct goes unreported. Many probationary firefighters even risk their own health and safety just to prove worthiness. That too is abuse. It only takes one rogue captain and a few misguided firefighters to end a career and put this city at risk of lawsuits, preventable injuries, and even tragic deaths. Chief officers, imagine a probationary firefighter collapsing and dying at a real incident after being hazed, training for hours in full turnouts without proper rest and hydration. At that point, your Mayday procedure is too late. The Mayday is happening right now in fire stations all around the city under your command. Quality assurance must mean protecting the health and safety of all members, shielding members from hazing and misconduct, setting probationary firefighters up for success, not failure, and ensuring documentation is accurate and complaints are escalated. These things are not happening. Chief officers, if it were your child, you wouldn't just investigate. You would act. Fire Commission, I call on you to revamp LAFD quality assurance. Require certified instructors, standardized evaluations, and require independent oversight from city personnel at every stage of QA and on all termination recommendations. Don't just investigate, intervene. This isn't radical reform. It's common sense accountability. Protect lives, protect careers, and protect the city's integrity. The time to act is now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Charles Boswell. If you could state the items you'd like to speak on.
All items. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
3 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioner Janitha Hutley-Hayes, Interim Fire Chief Ronnie Villanueva, and all commissioners and members of the public. My name is Charles Boswell, Chief Information Officer of the Los Angeles Centurions. I am here today to shed light on the matter that speaks directly to the need for reform in the city's firefighters' hiring background process. In 1988, Los Angeles Times reported on a background investigator, a former LAPD officer from the Daryl Gates era, who shot and killed an unarmed black man in South Los Angeles. Decades later, the same individual is still conducting firefighting background investigations. And what we are seeing are troubling patterns, repeated disqualifications of candidates of color, many from South Los Angeles, who are otherwise qualified and motivated to serve this city. Recently, the parents of such candidate came forward pleading their fairness. Their son now proudly serves as a firefighter paramedic in Memphis, was disqualified not once but twice by the very same investigator. The young man came through our pipelines. He participated in our fire magnet programs in high school. He was featured in local publications highlighting his dedications to becoming the Los Angeles City firefighter. And yet, he had to leave his hometown, his community, and his family behind to serve another city because the process here failed him. Commissioners, this is a bigger than one case. It is a systemic issue. A flawed process has robbed our department of committed candidates from communities that need representations the most. It has forced young people from South Los Angeles, people who love the city, to go out of state in order to find a fire service career. This is unacceptable. We are calling on the commission to take action to review the role of this investigator, to investigate patterns of bias in firefighter background, and to ensure that no single individuals with a documented history of questionable judgment has the power to block generations of diverse firefighters from serving the city he owns. Los Angeles deserves a fair and transparent hiring process. Young people deserve an opportunity to serve at home, and our department deserves the best candidate without bias, without barriers, and without the shadow of the past continuing to dedicate to the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Robert Hawkins. If you can state the items you'd like to speak on.
Yes, good morning, all items. Thank you. First, I would like to say Happy Mexican Independence Day. Today's September 16th. Good morning, Madam President, Janethia Hutley-Hayes, all fire commissioners, interim Fire Chief Ronnie Villanueva, and everyone else in attendance. My name is Robert Hawkins. I'm the president of the Los Angeles City Stentorians, an association of African American firefighters in the fire service. The notion that the Stentorians only care about black firefighters is not only false, it diminishes the work we do for all who serve in this department. While the majority of our membership is black, our organization is not exclusive to just one group. We represent firefighters of every background who face unfair treatment and barriers to success. As president of the Los Angeles City Stentorians, I must emphasize we cannot ignore the challenges we face with the treatment of black firefighters, firefighters of color, and women firefighters. Our mission has always been to advocate for health, fairness, and the well-being of black firefighters, and that commitment naturally extends to every firefighter who faces inequities or inequalities. The reality is that over the past year, probationary black firefighters have been terminated at a far greater rate than their peers. That's not a coincidence, it's a disproportion. And when a pattern repeats itself across multiple individuals in multiple stations, it stops being isolated and becomes systemic. But it's not only simply about black firefighters. It's about probationary firefighters as a whole, as you've seen this morning. We are not questioning standards. Standards are the foundation of our profession. We welcome them. What we are questioning is a lack of humanity. No probationary firefighter should be subject to harassment, discrimination, hazing, and deliberate efforts to set them up for failure. When the culture of a fire station fosters intimidation instead of mentorship, it doesn't just damage the probationary firefighter, it erodes the safety and strength of the entire fire department. And it undermines the trust of our community. For 70 years, the Los Angeles City Stentorians stood on principles, fairness, and equity, and we will continue to call out unsafe and bad practices by the fire department. This is not a demand rooted in race. This is a demand rooted in justice. And last, I want to remind everyone in this room, Stentorians, we fought the fight and caused the dissent decree. And everybody in here with a gold and silver badge has benefited from our fight.
Thank you. Next speaker, Sergey Thomason.
All items. Good morning, Commission President Hudley Hayes, Board, Interim Fire Chief Villanueva, Deputy City Attorney, distinguished guests in the room, and in fire family that's online. Thank you for the September 11th ceremony. It was truly honoring to all. However, the last Fire Commission meeting on September 2nd, some spirited discussion and some witness unbelievable acts of disrespect occurred. And there were some very good comments. I will paraphrase, but will use very close to exact words spoken by the Commission President. Public comment is the right of every citizen. We need a department without bias and without nepotism, by the way, that is rich and possibly hypocritical. More paraphrasing, people are fed up and we still see disparate treatment. We have to work so we are hearing each other's voices in a way that is not hostile. All powerful words. On September the 10th, there was a public assassination, and we have heard nothing from the city, this administration, or this board, or anything today regarding it. September the 12th, we should think of and remember Lane Kemper and his contributions to the fire service. Our fire family is dependent upon many of his actions that he did to keep us all safe. However, on the 12th, we got 3 other messages. The first message was on grooming standards in the Crown Act to show cultural sensitivity, to be more inclusive, embracing unity. The second message, an email from the mayor titled Staying United, which has no mention of the assassination nor its impacts to all people. The third message, all flags will stay at full staff unless directed by the mayor. We understand that as the mayor, that is her right. Mind you, there's been worldwide outcry against the assassination and against that level of violence. And we still hear nothing, which is deafening compared to the messaging received from recent past national incidents. The city's actions have now pitted your fire department members into a dilemma between right and wrong, ethical and moral leadership, and authority. You are appointed by the mayor. Please take our concerns to her. You also said the Fire Commission is oversight, responsible for making sure there are investigations, for making sure equity and inclusions and other things are looked after. We have 2 requests from the COA. 1, properly fill the vacancies using standards that matter. 2, create a diverse task force to equitably look at the concerns from the last meeting, open the dialogue so all voices are included. This could be the conversation that leads to great action and unity, a true turning point to better the climate and culture on the LAFD. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Freddie Escobar.
Good morning. All items, I'd like to start before I have my scriptures to thank Dr. Hara for your time served. I've been with you for a very, very long time. You deserve the retirement and the recognition you're getting, my brother. So thank you for your time. As mentioned, my name is Freddie Escobar. I'm proud to serve as the elected president of the United Firefighters of Los Angeles City. I've been silenced since May 5th, 2025. I'm done being silenced. I'm here to do the right thing and fight for what is right. I want to remind everyone in attendance today and the residents of Los Angeles City, the LAFD is woefully understaffed and underfunded fire department, period. We have a robust standard of cover that supports over 60 new fire stations in the city of Los Angeles. And since the conservatorship, not one word has been said. We had a budget that removed our EITs, putting our members' lives in jeopardy, as well as the residents of Los Angeles City. Let me remind everyone of the Western Fire, better known as the Joe Dupee Fire. Some of us in this room were at that incident that deadly night. Our brother, my friend, paid the ultimate sacrifice. The CERT report directly mentioned the loss of our EITs and inside members had a nexus to his death. And we did not fight for our EITs. And we have a fire chief, with all due respect, Chief V, that wanted to bargain our inside member. I am disgusted of what is occurring. I'm lost for words at this point. In my eyes, the mayor has put a price tag on our lives. Unfortunately, I made a prediction in December 2024, and the Pacific Palisades fire occurred. Residents perished. Let me be very clear. The way we are doing business today in the field, without our EITs, firefighters' lives are in jeopardy, as well as our residents we swore to protect. I worked last night, and we had a fatality down at the Rosslyn. The mayor's budget allocated $300 million from the general fund for homeless, and we are cutting our staffing. Not acceptable. It's not from lack of sympathy for the homeless. The residents of Los Angeles have voted to tax themselves, pass measures specifically to address homeless. We simply cannot sustain what we are doing every day in the field in the city of Los Angeles. It is not sustainable. Something horrific is going to occur. We are going to get 10 bells, and it's going to be our members. And I want everybody here who's making decisions to look themselves in the mirror. I have 2.5 years, and I'm done. I don't care if they bring me back or not. I'm going to continue to do the right thing. I am right now the president elected, and I'm going to continue to do the right thing. We cannot cut. We need to add our fire service, and I'm disgusted what the conservatorship and the IFF is doing to UFLAC. Thank you, and I'm not going away.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Hill, there's, I'm sorry.
Ivan Rodriguez. No. All of them. Good morning, everyone. I have been a public servant for this city for the last 34 years. I know what it means to serve. I know what it means to sacrifice. The day my son graduated from LAFD Academy was one of the proudest days of my life. Chief Villanueva, I remember shaking your hand as my son received his badge. At that moment, my heart was full. I felt pride beyond words, and I also felt trust. Trust that this department would guide him, mentor him, and protect him as he began his career that he had dreamed of since childhood. At his first house, he worked hard. He came home tired, sore, exhausted, but proud. He was confident. He believed he had chosen the right path. But everything changed at his last house, the second house. Instead of being mentored, he was harassed. Instead of being guided, he was intimidated. Instead of being supported, he was humiliated. And worst of all, he was discriminated against. My son should have never been asked by his captain about his immigration status. That should have never happened. Some people tell me, I have friends in the fire department, they tell me, it's just a rookie game. Tell him to play the game. He's going to be okay. Play the game. But I ask you, what kind of a game is it when grown men, 40 to 50-year-old grown men, abuse a young firefighter who is only trying to learn and serve? That is not a game. We're not here to play games. That is not training. That is not brotherhood. That is abuse. Others tell me, don't worry, he'll get through it. He'll be okay. But why should my son have to suffer abuse just to prove himself? Why should any parent have to sit at home, sick, worried, watching that their child is broken down by the very people who are supposed to be guiding him and lifting him and teaching him to serve this community? Commissioners, Chief Villanueva, this is not toughness. This is not toughness, this is cruelty. And it has left my wife and myself physically sick with worry. We see it in our son's face every day. We hear it in his voice. The pride that once carried him has been stripped away. He's discouraged, he's stressed, he's questioning whether he belongs in this career he has worked so hard for. And I must tell you, just yesterday, my son was retaliated against. Our situation is active, it is ongoing, and as a father, I am here to beg you, please help us, help us. This is not only my family's struggle, it is a cycle that has been allowed to repeat for too long, and it is pushing away good, hardworking young men and women who only want to serve the city with pride. Finally, I want to say how deeply grateful we are to the Estentorians. They have stood by my son in this painful time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Before the chief brings his comments, I want to make one thing very clear. And I want to make sure that I don't paraphrase this again. This is an open forum. Every citizen that has a concern is welcomed by the commission to come and to share their opinions. Because we don't respond does not mean that we don't hear. It doesn't mean that we don't care. This is a time for citizens to come to bring their concerns. And those that come before the commission and bring their concerns need to understand that all of us sitting here, we hear, we understand, and as an oversight body, we do in fact join with the interim fire chief. We talk about issues that are raised in commission, which is how it should be. We never stop anyone from saying what they need to say, and that is always going to be the case as long as I'm the president of the Fire Commission. Everyone has the right to be heard, and everyone needs to know that we hear you and that we are taking seriously the things that you come forward, the things that you say to us. Whether we like it or not, our job is to listen, to hear, and try to figure out ways as an oversight body to bring some resolution to those concerns and to come back with reports about the things that you are most concerned about. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. I don't believe in hostility. I don't believe that we should be doing anything other than listening carefully without being judgmental and without not having some objectivity. So I just want everybody to understand that that's how the commission functions. That's why we don't talk back. That's why we don't engage in back and forth conversation, because this is the time for citizens to come forward and say what they need to say. Thank you. We are now going to move on to the report of the fire chief, and he's going to do announcements, he's going to do meetings, and he's going to talk about events.
Okay, good morning, all. On September 3rd, I attended the Central City Association's elected officials reception. On September 10th, attended Chief Hing's retirement breakfast at Fire Station 4. Commissioner Hara, thank you for recognizing Chief Hing. He will be missed in this department. And yes, Monterey Park is going to benefit. He is an outstanding individual. On September 11th, the 9/11 remembrance ceremony was held at Frank Hodgkins, well attended by all law enforcement and fire service personnel. September 13th, Heart of the LAPD Wellness and Suicide Awareness Walk and Resource Fair. I participated with my governmental relations Matt Hernandez, and we walked in honor of 4 of our members. On September 13th, I attended at the Getty House Voces de Resiliencia, Voices of Resilience, celebrating Latino Heritage Month. And just for a FYI for you for future, on this Thursday, 9/18, 19, and 20, I'll be in Colorado Springs, myself and Chief of Staff Chief Brown for the Fallen Firefighters Memorial. We have 3 members whose names were going to be put on the wall. And there's a total of 311 names that will be added to the wall this year. And then once again, I don't think we can say this too much, but for those who'd like to join me, but for sure our uniformed personnel, I'd like to give a standing ovation to Dr. Hara for his service on the Fire Commission. Dr. Hara, thank you so much for all you've done for us. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Chief Villanueva.
I have to go to commission now, and Chief Everett will take my place.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So, no, we'll just wait for a second. Don't rush. Wait for a second for you to depart and bring the next person up. Who's replacing you?
Yeah, Chief Everett.
Okay.
And I'm going to city council, not
Yep.
commission.
Okay. So we're just going to wait for just one moment while Chief Everett comes forward. Ready? Okay. We're going to now move to item B, which is the oral report by the department on significant incidents and activities for the period of September 2nd through September 15th, and it's going to be Deputy Chief Gutierrez.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam President, Commissioners, Chief Everett, good morning. City Attorney, Ms. Hill, band staff, and guests. Before I begin, I do want to just acknowledge once again Dr. Hara for everything you've done. You are truly an inspiration. To see your presence at everything is truly for us very inspirational. It really gives us a lot of strength. It's always a pleasure seeing you, and you're going to be missed. So this morning I want to talk about an incident that didn't really occur. Well, it didn't occur. It occurred in Los Angeles. It occurred in Long Beach. And a couple of things I do want to highlight, though, in this, and the significance of it was truly how we collaborate with our allied agencies and other cities, and specifically. So on Tuesday, September 9th, 2025, a cargo ship, the Mississippi, while anchored in the port of Long Beach, had a catastrophic failure where up to 75 loaded containers fell directly into the ocean while being unloaded by large gantry cranes. This resulted in a large marine response in the port of Long Beach, as well as an immediate notification to LAFD. And this is because of our mutual aid agreements that we offer allied agencies and resource needs. See, as we explained before, whether it's wildfires up and down the state or other all-risk incidents, we can't do it alone. We rely on these mutual aid agreements, our allied partners, and our interagency kind of coordination. So although we offered additional resources, they weren't needed. However, myself, as well as members of my command staff, Operations South Bureau, continue to coordinate with the City of Long Beach and our allied partners. And the main reason was this: we wanted to ensure that we were truly briefed on what occurred, how it occurred, and what are some of the hazards. And this was for the significance of the Port of Los Angeles, to ensure that we were well prepared for any type of incident that would occur on this side of the bridge in the city of Los Angeles and Port, as well as surrounding communities. So we looked at the robust response that was going to be needed immediately. We also looked at any life safety needs in and around, specifically to the Port of Los Angeles, and of course the environmental impacts and the business continuity challenges that existed. So it was really very fortunate that no injuries resulted, but one minor one of a nearby barge, but good takeaways for the LAFD. And it really just goes to show the citizens and the board of what we do, even when we're not directly involved in it. We go for and listen and try and get good takeaways and lessons learned to help prepare us for that likely event that may occur right here in the city of Los Angeles. That's it. Any questions I can be prepared to take now.
Commissioners?
Great.
Thank you, Chief Gutierrez.
You're welcome, ma'am.
That brings us to item C, and we're going to have the same oral report on medical emergencies for that same period, September 2nd through September 15th, and it's Chief Warfel. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam President, Commissioners, Chief Everett, Deputy City Attorney, Neverly Command Staff, and guests. My name's Tim Werfel. I'm the Deputy Chief of the Emergency Medical Services Bureau. And first, I'd like to share the EMS Bureau recently were able to train some new advanced providers and bring them on board. And we were able to open a new resource with them. It's AP 13, Advanced Provider 13. It's housed at Fire Station 13 and Battalion 11. And it went into service on Wednesday, September 10th. And this resource is providing much needed workload relief and service to the Westlake area of the city. And we are working to extend the hours of all the advanced provider resources that are in service. Next, I'd like to share an incident that occurred September 4th, 2025, 2 days after we last met. The incident occurred in West Los Angeles in Fire Station 67's district. Metropolitan Fire Communications received a 911 call for service for emergency medical service from a business where a 34-year-old male who had been working on a transformer in an electrical room. The patient was found by his coworkers unresponsive and not breathing after sustaining a high voltage electrocution. A sworn LAFD dispatcher was able to quickly verify the location of the emergency, determine the patient was in cardiac arrest, and provide bystander chest compression only CPR instructions to the caller. Engine 62 and Rescue Ambulance 95 were dispatched. Once they arrived on scene, they took over care of the patient and continued the CPR. They then applied the new Zoll cardiac monitor, and the patient was determined to be in ventricular fibrillation. I think I shared that in a prior report. But it's a shockable heart rhythm that we see, especially from people that are electrocuted. So our paramedics delivered a defibrillation shock and converted the patient to a viable rhythm. Additional life-saving interventions were initiated, including assisting with ventilations and intravenous access. A hospital destination was determined and transport was initiated. En route to the hospital, the patient actually regained consciousness and was breathing on his own. So this incident is an example of when everything goes well. From early access of 911 and telephonic emergency instructions from a sworn firefighter paramedic, our dispatcher happened to also be a paramedic, to the arrival of LAFD resources with state-of-the-art emergency medical skills and equipment. The LAFD is increasing the survivability of these and many other types of medical emergencies on a routine basis. The EMS Bureau continues to elevate EMS as prescribed in the strategic plan through our diverse resources, continued adjustments to our dispatch algorithms, and quality improvement feedback. Thank you. This concludes my report unless there's any questions.
Commissioners, do we have questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us down to Agenda Item 4, which is the items on the consent agenda. Commissioners, do you want any items on the consent agenda pulled?
Madam President, for
Yes.
discussion, I'd like item 4B.
The Fire Commission 25-0501,
No,
is that the one you want pulled?
25050.
Yeah, okay. So Commissioner Woods Gray wants that one pulled. Now we have A. Can I get a motion
What we just
for
had?
report 25-049? The recommendations that we approve the report and adopt the recommendations therein.
Madam President, I move the approval of BFC 25-049 and BFC 25-048.
Okay? No, that's a regular agenda item.
Is that BFC
BFC
okay.
25-048 is the.
I withdraw that. I thought that, okay.
Okay.
I withdraw 25-048.
Okay.
Just item 4A.
So we're simply moving 25-049.
Right.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
I moved it.
Second.
Okay. It's moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That brings us down to Board of Fire Commissioners Report 25050, which Commissioner Woods Gray has pulled off of consent. Can someone come forward? It's a report regarding the agreement between the department and Kaiser Foundation Health Plan Incorporated for the provision of targeted destination ambulance services. And if you
Good
just.
morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. While I like this agreement, I think it's wonderful. I wish they do that for all, people. If I want to go to Cedars, I want to go to Cedars. I really think this is a great idea. My question is, who spends the dollars, and who approves the spending of these dollars? Because it's almost $1 million. It will be $1 million at the end of this year, next year. So who spends that?
That's Emergency Medical Services Bureau. Chief Worfel could talk specifically about like the purchases made over the years.
Oh, okay.
Do you need further comment, ma'am?
I would like to know how it's spent and what it's spent on, since it says, I'm really interested in the fact that we were talking about grants going into a special account where the LAFD had control over it. This seems to be a very good example of what we were talking about, because this is an account that, first time I've heard of an account that the LAFD just had control over, which I think is a great idea, because there are other funds that we also collect that go into the general fund that would be better off if we left them in the LAFD so we could spend them for the things that we think are necessary. So I just wanted to know what kinds of things and who gives permission for it to be spent.
Great questions, ma'am, and I want to thank Alexis for her help in this. We've been negotiating with Kaiser since October of last year, and we just recently reached this deal. And this program has been in place since 1998, and at that time, the fire department received $100 on every one of these transports. And this new verbal agreement, or this new agreement that we have with Kaiser, it's up to $225. As far as who controls it, it's the EMS Bureau controls how we spend this money, and under the direction of EOPS, with Chief Legal's approval. And some of the things that we've used the money for, just for example, the Zoll monitors that I just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So we partially funded the purchase of those monitors through the Kaiser Fund. We pay our assistant medical director's salary. Pyxis machines, those are the machines that we store all of the controlled narcotics in the field. for our EMS supervisors to deliver to the ambulances. We use that money to pay for that. And another thing was the Lucas devices. Part of that was through a grant, but we also accessed the Kaiser Fund. So it is great to have this account. It covers the gaps and things that come up that we didn't plan for in the EMS Bureau. And I don't know if you have any other questions.
No, that sounds, that's great. I love the idea that the department has control over the spending, and you can spend it for things that you know you need. And you don't have to go through a whole lot of paperwork or red tape to end up spending this money. So I just wanted to point out that it seems like a model that should be used by for other funds that we have talked about in the past. So thank you very much for that. I think it's great. I'm glad to see that you'll be targeting people, they will be sending people to Kaiser.
Thank you.
Without question.
Any other questions?
Chief Warfel, so it goes from you to Chief Deputy Flegel, and from Chief Deputy Flegel, then it goes to the fire chief for the final sign-off? Is that how it works, Deputy Chief Flegel? Okay. And it comes in, how does it come in and how does it get booked when it comes in?
That would probably be a good question for ASB.
Since we're talking about it.
Yes, it's a good question.
Yes, we bill Kaiser on a monthly basis.
Got it.
And right now it's around 78 to 80,000 per month, and that goes straight into this trust fund.
So we provide, we bill, and we're reimbursed. Is that how it works?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And we just do that until we have used up all the funding? On an annual basis, or how does?
Well, it's a trust fund that has a balance.
I got you. And we just use until we have, hopefully we never will use it up because it gets replenished.
Exactly.
Every month.
Exactly.
Every month it gets replenished. As we bill and as they give us money back, that's the replenishment.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
But the good thing is that it stays in, the department has control over it. You're not going to the CAO and all those different places.
Right.
All
Where it
around
can
the
be- Where it
world.
can be sucked into the general fund.
Right.
Okay.
So I think it's wonderful. It's a great model. I just wanted to point that out. That's a great model. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Madam President, I move the approval of, which dash? 25-050.
Second.
Okay, and the recommendation is that we approve the report and adopt the recommendations.
Yes.
So there's motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. That takes us to our regular agenda items. The report providing department's update response to the Independent Assessor's 2023 report on the department's handling of sexual harassment complaint investigations. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam President, Commissioners, Deputy City Attorney Linda Nguyen Neverly, LAFD Command Staff and guests, and if I may, a special good morning and sincere farewell with an appreciation to Dr. Hara for your time on the Commission. My name is Eric Roberts. I'm assigned and serving in the planning section here in the Office of the Fire Chief on the 18th floor, and I'm here at the direction of the Fire Chief as well as the Board of Fire Commissioners to give a response to the independent assessors that covers the calendar years of 2013 through 2020. As stated in the report, which is number 25-048, you'll see the last line of the summary serves as a thesis statement outlining 3 points. These 3 points were given to me by the Board of Fire Commissioners, and I hope to address all three. Number one, this report will state the firm position of the current LAFD administration under the leadership of Interim Fire Chief Ronnie Villanueva as a first point. Number two, will outline tangible actions that have been taken to prevent any form of sexual harassment and really any form of harassment in general. We'll define both of those terms in the report. And then lastly, we will respond with great specificity to all four of the recommendations from, at that time, Independent Assessor Stegall that are given in the report of the Independent Assessor. Number one, For discussion, you can read it along if you'd like. The LAFD maintains a firm, unambiguous, zero-tolerance stance on any form of sexual harassment. And that stance is in alignment with broader LA City policy, policies outlined by the state of California, and policies outlined by the federal government. As quoted in the Discrimination Prevention Policy Handbook, also known as the DPPH, the following description of sexual harassment policy is given. It is the policy of the City of Los Angeles and the Fire Department. Sexual harassment in the workplace is unacceptable and will not be condoned or tolerated. The description goes on. You can read it in the report. Furthermore, continuing on to page 2. The DPPH is a tool to define sexual harassment with great specificity. There are types of harassment that are identified. There are examples of harassing behavior, and there are tools for all members, including supervisors, to recognize harassment and identify it and stop a reoccurrence. The policy focuses on preventing, not just reporting, sexual harassment. In fact, the DPPH provides a supervisor's guide in Appendix A for intaking a sexual harassment allegation. That equips all LAFD supervisors with tools that not only prevent sexual harassment, but ensure that it is reported properly and prevented in the future. Moving on, the City of Los Angeles has been a model for non-discrimination in the workplace for nearly all of my life. Beginning in 1992, the City Council adopted a discrimination-free workplace policy. It outlined the necessity for all city employees to share responsibility. It was further reinforced by Mayor James Hahn when he assigned Executive Director PE1. That it required a thorough investigation of all complaints, which continues to this day. I'll outline that later when we discuss LAFD-specific policy. Furthermore, that policy was expanded in 2008 with Executive Directive 12, and then further expanded and defined by Mayor Garcetti with Executive Directives 11, 18, and 23. Simply put, there is zero tolerance in the City of Los Angeles, and furthermore in the Los Angeles City Fire Department, for sexual harassment. Number 2. The Board of Fire Commissioners wanted to know what the position was of the current LAFD administration. On page 2, you'll see that the interim fire chief reinforced this decades-old position in one of his first official messages, and that's a message that is written on paper and distributed to all members. It is of official record. It could be used as a CPRA request answer, and I'm using it now in this Board of Fire Commissioner report. The fire chief's message was dated April 10th of this year, and it was directed to all members by saying, I want to quote here word for word, "Let me be clear," to reiterate the fire chief speaking here, not me. "Let me be clear, there is no place in this department for discrimination, hazing, or unjust treatment of any member. Every firefighter, paramedic, and employee deserves to work in an environment where they are valued, supported, and treated with dignity. This is non-negotiable," end quote, written on paper. Furthermore, tangible actions have been taken to prevent any form of sexual harassment. And there are 3 tenets to the DPPH's policy on sexual harassment: proper reporting, the preventing of a reoccurrence, and recognizing sexual harassment. All LAFD sworn members are trained on the DPPH. They are also trained on equal employment opportunity policy and sexual harassment from the first time they are exposed to training in the Recruit Academy. Furthermore, all supervisors and non-supervisors are trained biennially every other year on the state-required curriculum that focuses on preventing, stopping, and reporting harassment. And at last, on page 3, you'll notice that the mayor has required that all members, not just supervisors, attend anti-bias learning for employees, also known as ABLE training, and workplace policy biennially. The Professional Standards manages the proper documentation, investigation, and adjudication of cases involving claims of sexual harassment, and PSD has developed new technology. We have moved away from the Complaint Tracking System, also known as CTS, into the Complaint Management System, known as CMS. Effective January the 8th, 2025, this system replaced CTS. Also of note, among the 19 positions moved by the interim fire chief, the Professional Standards Division commander was transferred with a newly promoted member, Eric Talamontes. New software, new leadership are reinforcing existing LAFD policy. And I thought of note before the question is asked, PSD has reported that since the time the report of the independent assessor ended, which was August of 2020 in that calendar year, through last month here in 2025, 14 claims related to sexual harassment have been filed, and all 14 of them are under thorough investigation by professional standards. And not written in the report, but as I prepared for this, I thought it would be of note that the Professional Standards Division does not report to the Chief Deputy of Administrative Operations or Emergency Operations. The PSD, or Professional Standards Division, reports directly to the Fire Chief. So there is not a mechanism to not investigate thoroughly any of these 14 claims or any claims that may come in the future. Continuing on page 3, you'll note that the Equity and Human Resources Bureau was created in 2021 in response to suggestions by the Deloitte Organization Study, and I've listed the Board of Fire Commission reports there. It was intended to provide enhanced human resources management. During these current fiscal times, the EHRB has been downsized. It's important to know that that work continues. You'll see that we state in the report that the remaining staff continues this work under the supervision of the Workforce Effectiveness Section Commander, which reports through channels up to Chief Everett. And thirdly, the third point of this report, the independent assessor on the final page, if you look at the very last page of Sue Stagel's report, made 4 recommendations. I'd like to address all 4 in order. Much has been done to address all 4 of these recommendations. First, number 1, the fire chief must create an environment in which everyone takes responsibility for creating an inclusive workplace, where reporting misconduct is honored as department priority and targets and reporters are protected from any and all retribution. For the purposes of my definition, quoting the DPPH, Merriam-Webster agrees that retribution and retaliation serve the same legal function. Therefore, the DPPH addresses all 3 clauses of this recommendation, specifically in Section 2, Bravo. It covers the responsibilities of all members, and I quote, "All members are responsible for preventing sexual harassment, and every member is entitled to work in an environment free of sexual harassment or retaliation." Furthermore, in Section 2, Foxtrot, it outlines a clear standard on retribution, which again is a synonym for retaliation, and I'm clarifying those 2 words because the independent assessor used the word retribution, DPPH uses retaliation. The LAFD maintains a zero tolerance for retaliation, and we go on in the DPH. Turning to page 4. The interim fire chief built upon this long-standing written policy in the DPPH by prioritizing work environment and professionalism in his first message to the organization. That was dated, his second message to the organization. I misspoke there. It's his second fire chief's message. It was dated June the 20th, 2025. It was directed to all members, and it said as follows. As members of the LAFD, our duty has always been and remains to provide the highest standard of emergency service to every person who lives, works, or visits our city without prejudice or discrimination, and he goes on to address a pressing issue of that time. The interim fire chief remains committed to creating a working environment that is in alignment with LAFD and broader Los Angeles city policies. Number 2, supervisors must be held accountable for creating a harassment and discrimination-free workplace. Supervisors are held to an even higher standard than all members in the DPPH. As stated, officers, managers, and supervisors are in key positions to make an impact in terms of immediately correcting inappropriate behavior, and the DPPH continues on. Simply put, and to summarize, a supervisor cannot be a confidant. A supervisor cannot be aware of any form of harassing behavior and not report it. A supervisor cannot be a confidant. They are a mandated reporter. Throughout each member's careers, these policies are reinforced in a variety of ways, and of note, most recently, through the leadership of AOPS, the Training and Support Bureau has provided vignettes that showcase poor performance and proper practices related to the prevention, recognition, and reporting of inappropriate workplace behavior. Number 3, the recommendation from Sue Stegel was that investigators must receive additional training, and it continues to go on. As a result of this 2023 recommendation, PSD hired Libort Cassidy Whitmore's LCW to conduct multiple trainings for PSD special investigators. Training was conducted. You'll see the dates and the topics of trainings in the report on page 5. Fourthly and lastly, in regard to the recommendations from the independent assessor, the department must instill in members an understanding that the department is a workplace, not a home or a family, where all related rules, laws, policies, and procedures apply. This should begin with the language such as fire station rather than firehouse and assignment rather than house. In the standing compendium of LAFD policy and the expressed leader's intent from the current interim fire chief, at no place in our LAFD library is the term firehouse utilized. In conclusion, this report has shown the firm position of the City of Los Angeles, and more specifically of the current administration under the leadership of Interim Chief Villanueva. Secondly, Tangible actions have taken place to reduce and prevent cases of sexual harassment. And thirdly, 4 tangible responses to the recommendations of the independent assessor with the data set from that time, from 2013 through August of 2020, have been addressed. And the report concludes by recommending if there is a need for further independent assessment, this could be time for the independent assessor to gather new data, moving from September of 2020 through the current time. That is the end of my report. I'm open to questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, are there questions?
I agree with you. It's time for a new report. Many of us realize why this report has taken so long to get to this point, because the much delay from the beginning, which is another whole story. Let's talk about your report. Thank you for stating all the policies of LAFD. But we've had this policy in place for a very long time. I think you said something about 1992 is one of the earlier dates I heard. There's been much training by everybody, for everybody. A lot of it is oftentimes voluntary because you have to do it on video whenever you. I've never been really happy with the video type thing where they watch it on TV at will. So my concern is that because it has existed for such a long time, but we continue to have the same problems, I'm looking to see exactly, step by step, what the department wants to do, except restate the policy. Because the policy is great, but it's no good if it's just on paper and it's not implemented or followed through on, or no one monitors it to see what's happening. And then you do get reports that this is happening, and then sometimes people don't report what's happening, because that's how the LAFD functions. But it does exist. So I just seemingly need, it looks like, I saw the bullets that you listed, but I didn't clearly understand the plan, step-by-step plan as to what we are going to do to alleviate these issues or to deal with them. And changing the words house from house to what was that, house to station, has nothing to do with the mentality and the hearts of these people. I can understand where they get in there and feel like it's a family or a house, because when I was at my school for 40 years, I felt like I had a family. I did. I still have that family. But just changing words on paper like that is not going to make a difference. It has to be more than just changing the words from house to family, and sometimes I myself interchange station, house, and the assignments are something else. It's just, but it has nothing to do with how people treat people, I don't think. It just doesn't seem to make, that's not, I don't understand that as a step toward improvement. So those are my comments at this time.
President Hudley Hayes, may I address her comments or stand by for more?
Of course.
So thank you, Commissioner Woods. Gray. I appreciate the comments. I took out several points there that I'd love to address. Number one, the first is this training is not voluntary at all for any member. It is compulsory. And failure to comply with the training results in disciplinary action. There are timelines associated with the training. Some of them are annual and many of them are every other year. Some of that is from the city and some of that is from the state and some of that is internally from the LAFD. Secondly, it's not always videos. At numerous times in my career, I have had in-person opportunities to have training to help me grow my set of skills, both as a young officer and as a member on the fire department. The third point, at no point in any of our LAFD policy is a person not allowed to report an incident of hazing. So from the moment they're in the drill tower as a firefighter 1 until their time as a firefighter 2 on probation, throughout their career as a firefighter 3, and hopefully as they progress through the ranks, if they're not reporting a case, they are breaking the rules. So a case that is not being reported is an error in part, whatever caused it should never have happened, But the person who it happened to is also now breaking LAFD policy. And then the last thing is that at no point ever in the LAFD's history that I'm aware of have we ever called a fire station a house. We didn't change the word. We maintained our position that it is a professional workplace.
But the word house is used.
No, ma'am, never.
People do use the word house when referring to fire stations.
Maybe.
Because in my conversations with firefighters in fire stations, we say house sometimes. Yes, we do. That's not true. That's a word that is used, because I think when I first came, I had to kind of go back to, I thought of it as a firehouse, and then I realized they're fire stations, because it's so common. Firehouse is a common term used by not just firefighters, but other people also. So how do you keep up with the fact that they have taken the training? And actually, not having taken the training or taking the training is not really the issue either. It's how the training is implemented in the stations once you've taken it. How do you internalize it and use it? Is there any way to judge that?
Certainly. So there has been a department bulletin recently issued, which is the officer's responsibility to train and counsel. And this department bulletin, although truly unnecessary, reinforced exactly what you're talking about, which is the training that is provided virtually through our computer system known as Vector Solutions, tracked by the Training and Support Bureau, is meant to come alive and be implemented by all members. And all members have the responsibility to follow the rules and regs, including the training offered on this topic.
And I do know while every firefighter has a responsibility to report, things are not reported. That is true. Now, firefighters will probably say it's not true because that's just the way they are. But it's not that I have, it's just the way they are. They like to keep everything in-house and to themselves. And if there's something they're going to report, they will report it. And if it's something that they don't want reported, they're not going to report it. I don't care. Whatever the consequences obviously are not that great that they feel that they always have to report. It's the culture of the fire department. And, I go in and out of fire stations talking to people, so I know, I hear and know exactly some of the things that are going on. And I know that oftentimes there are things reported in secrecy that are not reported to, that they're talked about, that are not reported. But then once you bring it up, they say, oh, we're going to report that. But it hadn't been reported before. I'm just talking about what's real. And I do think that perhaps I agree more so that we need the new report, because I want to see, since you've had this training, we've had 7 years, oh, no, more than that, 12 years to do all of this training and implementation of the training and seeing where it's going. Let's see what our records show now. So I think we need to have a new report. A new report that will come quicker than this report came, so that it's not old news. And I hope that the new report wouldn't give us the same information, since you've done a lot to improve the culture of the fire stations.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Babcock? I'm good. Okay. I'm not going to pick this report page by page. I'm going to read to you, and I'm going to pass the document on to Chief Graham. And it needs to get to wherever it needs to get to, because this report for me is still inadequate. And I want to make sure that you understand that. I want to thank you for providing the report, but it doesn't answer any of the questions that I've been asking for since the report came forward. So I finally decided what I would do is I would write down, pass it to either you or whomever needs to take a look at it. I am perfectly open to having a conversation before a report comes forward, but I am speaking now not as the president of the Fire Commission, I'm speaking as a commissioner. I'm not accepting this report. This report needs to be ongoing, but let me just read so that maybe you're clear, maybe there's more clarity. So one of the things that I want you to know is I really do understand that, let me back up a bit to put some context to it. I was on the Fire Commission 13 years ago, and I served as the president of the Fire Commission for 6 years. One of the reasons that I was asked by the Vehicles Administration to come onto the Fire Commission was this very reason. We were costing the city, the Los Angeles Fire Department was costing the city over $64 million a year in cases of sexual assault, in cases of harassment, in cases of bullying. $64 million of the taxpayers' money was being paid out to settle these claims. It came to a head when a firefighter was fed dog food. And I'm sure that all of you in this room remember that. A firefighter was actually fed dog food as a prank.
Yes.
It got to that level.
I remember.
We worked very hard. The commission worked with then Fire Chief Beaumatry, who was an outstanding fire chief as far as I'm concerned, with Fire Chief Berry, who was an outstanding fire chief as far as I'm concerned. We worked hard with the department, not in hostility, not in blaming, because each part of the house had a responsibility for that. We spent 18 months putting together Professional Standards Division. That wasn't something that the Los Angeles Fire Department did by itself, and the fire department was forced to the table to do that. The commission asked for a federal mediator to come and mediate that process. 18 months. I have no idea why the fire department cannot find that document. Fortunately for me, I kept mine at home, and I'm perfectly willing to give it to anybody that wants to see it. PSD was created out of a shared process, not the commission being hostile, not the fire department being hostile. Yes, we had to bring them to the table. And everyone signed off on that document, everyone. COAs, UFLAC, Fire Department, Fire Commission, Stentorians, Los Bomberos, Women of the Fire Service. Everybody signed off on that document to create PSD, to stop what was happening then. The Fire Commission itself then created the Office of Independent Assessor. We negotiated with UFLAC. We wanted an Inspector General. UFLAC didn't want that. And so we negotiated, which is how you solve problems. You negotiate. Everybody can't get everything they want. So we agreed on having an independent assessor who would create the audit function. The independent assessor works for the commission, not the department. The independent assessor is not hired by the department. It's hired, that person is hired by the commission with the authority to be able to audit. There is a portion of research that has to happen when you're putting an audit together. So I just want to contextualize for people that I've been here before, in this same chair, in this same position as president of the commission. Alan Scobin was on the commission at that time. He was general counsel for Galpin. We had Steve Fazio, who was on the commission at that time, who is a lifelong reserve police officer. Casimiro Tolentino was on the commission at that time. He was an administrative law judge. And Andrew Freeman was on the commission at that time, who was here to, in fact, look after all of those things that we were having trouble with in the conservative Jewish community. Hatzalah, if you people remember that, who wanted to have ambulances and who wanted to have sirens and those kinds of things, and we were working on those kinds of things. So let me say to you that I want to acknowledge Commissioner Woods Gray's comment that this is an ongoing problem. It has been an ongoing problem. And with this report, I don't see anything specific in this report that tells me what you are doing specifically. My concern is that apparently we are now spiraling out again into another era where these things have come up again. I believe that this is a systemic issue, and it's far more complex than just looking at things through the lens of race. This is a much more complex issue. And so I'm going to read my statement, I'm going to hand it off to somebody, and I am saying to you, commissioners, that I'm not accepting this report that has come, but we need a voice vote to figure out whether or not people want to accept and want to receive and file this. So here, just let me read my statement. When the Board of Fire Commissioners adopted the recommendations in Board Fire Commission Report number 23-122, that report was really called the Assessment of the LAFD Handling of Sexual Harassment Complaint Investigations. The independent assessor recommended that you focus on training, behavior, and accountability. At that time, I asked how the department would measure success. This report is not specific. I would like to know what the department is doing to prevent similar incidents to those reported by the independent assessor. This response does not include any methodologies used to measure success. I don't see any of that in this report. In an effort to be more specific, I would like a follow-up report on the training of all employees, officers, non-officers, civilians, across the organization. Vice President DeLucia and I had the opportunity in the past to meet with Deputy Chief Jamie Brown and Assistant Chief Justin Moore to discuss and review leadership training that was designed to address these concerns. How has any of that training been used? I haven't heard anything back from that. It was an excellent endeavor on the part of Deputy Chief Brown and Assistant Chief Justin Moore. We have not heard anything else about that. It was a continuous loop of training with specificity, with an evaluation process. It was actually one of the best reports that I heard from that department. So I don't know how that training has been used. I don't know if it's still being considered. Is it still being developed? How many members have been trained? If not, would you report back on what training has been done and will be done? Also, I want to know how will the training emphasize your zero tolerance for unjust treatment of any member? My concern is not just for African American members, or just women, or just people who are from the LGBTQ community, or people who have gender identity issues. What I'm interested in is, why do we keep hearing that as an organization, we don't treat each other well? For me, I don't understand that. We have people that come out of the drill tower, they're perfectly trained because they graduate from the drill tower. So somebody in the drill tower has said, these people are ready to go into the rotational process, which should be doing this: develop, train, develop, mentor, support. That's what training looks like to me. We're not going to have a fully competent firefighter for about 4 years. So we should always be in the process of developing people, training people, developing people, supporting people. I cannot tell you the number of calls that we get into the commission office where people are reporting the same things that we're hearing here in commission meeting, the very same things. I have to stand in the back of the line to get lunch because I'm a rookie. I can't have seconds because I'm a rookie. I can't sit with the crew because the rookies have to sit here and the captain ones and twos have to sit here. I don't understand what that message is. I don't understand what that is that we're doing. I just don't understand it. I do Firehouse Fridays, so I go into a firehouse almost every Friday. And what I hear, because I do have the reputation of going into a fire station, and I say to them, whatever you tell me at this table, it stays at this table. If it gets out into the general public, that's on you, because I don't talk about what happens from fire station to fire station to fire station. But this report is not, it doesn't give me any specifics about the training. In addition to training for Professional Standards Division that was referenced in this report, can you report on Professional Standard Division's ongoing training efforts for their investigators and special duty captains? Does PSD have an evaluation process to assess and measure their investigators' proficiency? And finally, I just want to know, how are you measuring and analyzing all of your EEO complaints to quantify trends and identify opportunities to educate and inform our members on the department's zero tolerance for unjust treatment? I don't see any of that in this report. I don't see anything specifically that tells me what you're doing. I don't know who's empowered. I don't know who's responsible. I don't know what the consequences are. I don't know how things go back up the chain. I don't see anything in this report that explains any of that to us. And we're going to keep being in this loop. We're going to continue this loop, continue. Now I'm going to say something here that I have said over and over again. As a commissioner, I always say we. I don't say the commission and LAFD, because I think it is a we kind of a deal. I believe that the Los Angeles Fire Department is one of the finest departments in the world, not in the nation, but in the world. I believe that. And I am absolutely invested in making sure that that's true. When I was on the Fire Commission the last time, I visited fire stations across the country to compare them to Los Angeles Fire Department. And I found every other department in every city that I've visited to be wanting in comparison to what we do. We do some things that are so remarkably professional that we don't get credit for that. And I'm the first person to say that I want us to get credit for everything that we do, that we're doing well, above and beyond. The problem that I have is that we are not willing to look at each other and talk about the challenges that we have. I don't know why that's so. I have to tell you that I don't understand that. I don't understand how a person who comes through the drill tower, which is really just an introduction. Let's all be real clear. In the drill tower, you're introduced to a variety of things. When you come out of the drill tower and you go into that first fire station, that's when the development starts. So I don't understand how we are training those people in the fire stations to understand what their job is. It is not the job of those in the fire station to determine whether they like or dislike a person. It is their job dispassionately to develop every new firefighter. That's their only job, is to develop that person. We want to do that, as Commissioner Woods Gray has pointed out. We want them to go to 3 different places so that they have an opportunity to understand 3 different methods and 3 different ways of training. But that's their job. I don't believe that it's a tradition, hazing and harassing people and bullying people. I don't know what that means about saying that. I don't want to say that about the Los Angeles Fire Department, that that's our tradition, that what we're doing is are we jumping people into a gang, or are we one of the finest professions in the world? Being a firefighter, to me, is one of the noblest callings that citizens can have, to come in and say, I'm going to run into a burning, everybody else is running out, but I'm going to run into a burning building, and I am going to save your property, or I'm going to arrive at your house in an ambulance, and I'm going to triage your person so that that person doesn't die. That's almost the noblest profession I can think of, except for teaching, because I'm a teacher. I think teaching is higher than that, but so I don't get this whole mentality of, are we a gang? Is that what we're doing? Are we jumping folks in? Are we saying, I'm just going to beat the crap out of you until you submit to go along to get along? In another life, in a past life, I used to do work in the public housing, and I worked with and worked around gangs. And that's what they do. They jump folk in a gang. That's the mentality. We're going to jump them in. We're just going to beat them up and beat them down and break them down until they say, okay, well, then now you can be in the gang because we've just beat the crap out of you. I don't think that's what we are. And I don't think that's what we should be saying that we want to be. We're also not a fraternity. Fraternities haze members to get them in. I don't think that's what we are either. I also don't think that this is a problem of 85% of our members. What we're doing is we're allowing 5 to 10% of our members to drag this narrative forward. And I believe that. I'm sure that there are other people who don't. There are other people who would say, you're naive or you just don't understand. I have met some of the finest people that I have ever met within the Los Angeles Fire Department. I do not believe that 100% of the people in the fire department behave this way. I don't even believe that 10% of them do. I could be wrong, but I don't believe that 10% of them do. Something, however, is wrong. Something's wrong here. If we keep having this same problem of we're not treating each other well, our people are traumatized in two different ways. And I'm sorry that it's taking such a long time, but I need for you to understand how I feel, just me. Our people are traumatized, number one, because they have to take a run, 700-800 a day now, into either a burning building, or they've got to go to somebody's home where everybody in that home is just a basket case because their loved one is ill and needs to be helped. That's a trauma for our people every day, to see that kind of thing, to have to manage that kind of stress, to have to deal with those kinds of things. When you come back to the fire station, you're traumatized again if you're bullied, harassed, and made to feel like you don't belong. You're further traumatized, and by the way, I have spent the night, an entire night, in a fire station. And I was so traumatized I couldn't figure out the next day whether I was coming or going. You sit down to eat a hot meal. The bells go off and off you go and your food gets cold. You come back. You are supposed to then debrief on what happened at the incident. See, I know what happens. Don't believe I don't. Before you can even debrief, the bell goes off again because we got 800 calls. We still haven't had a mouthful of food, not a mouthful of food. It's there and it's cold, but we still can't have food, So we're on trying to drink water, keep ourselves hydrated. So now we're traumatized yet again. You go to bed at night, and you've been asleep 15, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. The bell goes off, right? And you're up. Once again, off you go, and back you come. So your rest broken. And then to say to the public, or have the public come and say to us and look at us, that we still don't treat our people well, that we are still hearing complaints about the fact that people are not treated well. What is it that we're trying to prove? Are we trying to say to rookie firefighters that until we can break your spirit, you don't get to be part of LAFD? when what we should be doing is welcoming them, helping them understand that we understand that they're not complete yet. We understand that they're not developed yet. We understand that they need more training, more support. We understand all of those things. I don't get it where the prank stuff comes in. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm not asking you, this is a comment. I'm not asking you to respond, but I'm telling you that that's what it looks like to me. I'm going to give this to Chief Graham. You look at it. You can call me if you want to have a conversation about what I'm looking for in a report. This is not it. And I want to acknowledge once again that this is a much more complex, systemic issue around the culture in our fire departments. And while there may be race as a component, this is something that seems to be happening to a lot of our rookie firefighters. It doesn't have anything to do with their race. It doesn't have anything to do with their gender. It doesn't have anything to do with their sexual orientation. It doesn't have anything to do with their religion. It seems to be happening to more rookie firefighters than I think that the commission should be comfortable about. And we need to have specific answers to what you're doing. How do you evaluate it? How do you inspect to see whether or not it's being carried out? Those are my comments. I don't want to comment on this report. Those are my comments. And I would like,
Madam President. When you're finished.
I want to move, and we can do it by voice vote, to reject this report, to have this report continued, and to have it come back with some more specificity. But I'm willing to yield until you've spoken, and then I'd like to make that motion.
I wanted to join and associate myself with the President's, some of her remarks. I don't want anyone to think that I think that everybody in the LAFD is racist, sexist, or whatever other negative terms you might think of. Because just as the President has done, I've met many fine people in this department. And for the number of years I've been here, I'm almost beginning to call you my family. So I don't think I dislike my family like that. But I like to correct my family and let them make sure that they're going in the right direction. That's one of the things that I want to do. And while you're standing there, you're the representative right now. I know it's not you. It's all these other people out there in these places. But we just have to identify why a small number of people can have this impact up on almost 4,000 people. You know, why is that? So I just wanted to make sure that all those people who are on the phones and wherever is saying, and sometimes I raise my voice. It's not that I don't like you, but I do get a little disturbed sometimes when people try to make me think I don't know what I'm talking about. So, and I know what I'm talking about. I'm like some of those other people that you heard, you know, they know it's their truth, it's my truth. I know what I'm talking about. So I will raise my voice, but it's not in anger. It's just that I guess it's passion, yes, because that's one of the things I guess as a female leader, you've had to stand up in a place where there were almost always male leaders. So you raise your voice a little higher, louder, and stand a little taller, and I'm short too, so you got to make yourself a little bigger. But anyway, I just wanted to let the department know that there are many fine people in this department, and we just want to work on that small group that is tainting the name and the attitude and the behavior. And when we're having to send firefighters away to come back to join us, they come here, train, go, and then have to go to another city or state someplace, then they come back and they actually get into the LAFD. Well, that seems uncalled for. And I know there are cases like that. We have those people in our department. But it doesn't make sense that we've had to do that they've had to do that, or that some women have had to go through the reentry program. Almost all the females that come in recently, some of them have had to always go and do it a second time. It's like, Anyway, that's my comments. I will stop right there because I'll be getting into the times of the day. Thank you.
And I think the other thing that we need to think about, that's important to me when you're an oversight person and you realize that we're using the taxpayer's dollar. It costs us over $100,000 to train in the drill tower. When we lose firefighters to other departments, all of our investment, all of our city's tax dollars go to another location. We have firefighters who leave the Los Angeles Fire Department because they find the environment to be toxic, and then they get hired someplace else. So we've invested $100,000 in a person, per person, or more. And that person takes all of the training that they get from our drill tower, which obviously is exceptional because they get hired in the next fire department almost immediately. So it's not just the cost of us trying to figure out why we can't treat each other well, but there is really a finite bottom line cost for us to spend $100,000 per person to train, and then they leave us and get hired, not just in Tennessee. We have firefighters who have been hired in Glendale. We have firefighters who've been hired in Beverly Hills. We have firefighters who've been hired in Culver City. They go to the county. So we're gifting other people the taxpayers' money here in Los Angeles. At one point, we had 9 people that resigned. So we're talking about the financial resources, especially about a department where we are saying we are underfunded. If you've got 9 people that resign, and 7 of them, I can tell you for a fact, were hired immediately, 9 people that resign is $900,000 that we have lost to the city of Los Angeles because those people have gone someplace else. And so I want to make it clear that, yes, I'm concerned about why we don't treat our people well, but as oversight, we also have to think about the cost to the city. And I'm not going to argue ever that we don't need funding. We are absolutely underfunded. But we can't justify why we're going to let $900,000 walk right out of the door and go someplace else and get hired. I mean, it's just, we can't keep doing this. It's just not sustainable. So I would like to move that we do not accept this report, that we continue this report, and I would like for everything that I have asked for in my comments that I gave you, and I want this report to come back in 30 days. You don't get to have 6 months to do this. You have fire stat, you have planning, you have all of these people that should have some kind of data or some kind of research or something. You don't need, I'm telling you, you're not going to get 6 months. You're not going to get 60 days. I want the report to come back in 30 days. Chief Graham?
Yes, 30 days.
Chief Everett.
I'm sorry. You know, I keep calling you Chief Graham when you're really Chief Everett.
Because that was Graham, that was a Graham
I'm so
Everett.
sorry. I apologize. And then I look at you and know who you are, and then I call you the wrong name. Why didn't you tell me?
You remember that was
you the
Graham
wrong name?
Everett?
It's actually a lot better looking than me.
So have I done that correctly? I always want to know if I,
So you have a motion that needs to be seconded.
right.
Madam President, just to confirm, you said that you wanted to bring the report back in 30 days. Our next meeting is October 21st.
Well, that's what I wanted. Is that more than 30 days?
Just a little bit.
All right. I want it then. So there's a second?
Second, I second.
Do you guys need a voice vote? Or can I just say all in favor? Do you want a voice vote? Okay.
Nope, just.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. That brings us to the end of this,
Motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry,
Motion to adjourn.
can I get a second?
I second it.
We're adjourned.